Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Welcome, murderers. This is your host, Abby, on the first of what is a new series of mini episodes titled Reflections. Our Reflections episodes will feature both content that is parallel to its parent hour-long episode already published, or, you guessed it, our own reflections of an episode. Oftentimes, as we are editing and proofing the episodes for publishing, we develop these new burning questions or comments that we feel ought to be addressed, and so why not just record all of that and get it off of our chests and clear the air? As we get more questions and comments directly pertaining to the episodes, go ahead and email those to us at wanderingcrowpodcast@gmail.com. We will answer some of those questions and comments for you in these Reflections episodes. As for today, our Shadow People Reflections Season 2, Episode 2, give it a listen if you haven't already. One of our young family members has actually had an encounter with a Hatman. Today, our Wandering Crow hosts will listen back to their encounter and provide commentary as it goes. I do apologize preemptively for the numerous audio issues that I experienced. I tried to make everything fairly level for you. Please enjoy.
I was at sleepaway camp, and it was last summer 2024. Day 1 in my cabin, I was sleeping. So I woke up because I heard crying, and I look in the corner of the room where my friend, who is also awake, is looking, and there is a shadow person thingy in the corner of the room wearing a top hat. But the guy was crying, "Nobody likes me." And my friend just looks at him and says, "Skill issue," and then rolls over and goes back to bed.
Did you catch that? That's what I do.
Skill issue? What?
Skill issue. That's it's brain rot.
Mm-hmm.
It's Gen Z talk.
We're selling Skibidi car packs now, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, it just means that sounds like a personal problem. That sounds like you don't know how to handle
By the way,
this.
skill issue was a coder term before it was ever brain rot.
Okay.
They still
Fair enough.
say that about somebody when their code doesn't work. Seems like a skill issue.
Well, and that makes sense why it's Gen Z lingo, because they are all learning coding in elementary school now. All right, so his friend said skill issue to the crying shadow person in the corner and rolled over and went back to sleep.
Nobody likes me.
And then, after a minute or two of me just looking at the guy, I go back to bed too. He didn't do much. He was just crying on his knees in the corner of the room, just crying that no one likes him. Nobody likes me.
That's what it was like?
Yes.
And so you just watched him for a couple of minutes and he just kept doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard the term shadow person before?
Yes.
You had?
Yeah.
Where?
Well, I don't know where I heard it. I
You
just
already knew what a shadow person was, though, when you
Well,
saw
not
this guy.
exactly. I knew that didn't know exactly what a shadow person was. It's just I knew that it was like a weird shadowy thingy.
So, okay, so you hadn't heard the term shadow person before, but when you heard the term shadow person, you knew that that's a good way to describe this guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought all shadow people had top hats too.
Because this guy had a top hat? Okay, and this was your only experience with a shadow person. Had you ever heard of Hatman at that point in time, do you know?
I think so. It's just a man with a hat that's really shadowy thingy.
Prior to this experience, what kind of discussions have we ever had in this family about ghosts and entities?
Making fun of them?
Really? You feel like we make fun of
really?
but
Well, like they're not real.
do we talk about them much ever?
No.
And otherwise, the context is those aren't real.
Yes.
Right. Okay. And so when you saw this shadow thing at camp, what effect did that have on you?
That shadow people are really depressed.
Okay. What did it change anything for you in terms of believing in ghosts?
No, shadow people are not ghosts.
Oh. What do you think a shadow person is then?
Demony, shadowy dude.
Do you think that he was a living being, a living person?
Yeah.
So, like, do you think that there was a person who looked like a shadow who went into your cabin
But no.
and you just went to sleep and didn't tell a counselor that there was a person in your cabin?
Well,
At least he caught him.
Now, as a mother, you're freaking me out because that sounds like a bad way to handle stranger danger.
I did.
So you saw him and you even still, you're like, ghosts aren't real. What do you...
Because he didn't look like a ghost. Are shadow people ghosts?
I think that's the idea, is that they're just like possibly a type of a ghost or a spirit or some sort of unalive entity, right? Like you saw him and didn't think he was just a person, right?
Yeah, I didn't think it was a human, but I didn't think it was a ghost.
Okay.
So that is interesting because based on all the conversations we've had about shadow people, they do seem somewhere in between.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's kind of the general understanding. So it's really interesting that was his take on it. He didn't really know what it was. It didn't even occur to him that it could be a ghost.
It's like explaining a djinn without knowing what a djinn is.
Yeah, and
Right.
I'm a little bit alarmed by... I didn't realize that it actually spoke and it said nobody likes me while crying. There's something that feels very manipulative about that. It wanted someone to console it. It wanted attention and for somebody to make friends with it.
And thanks to brain rot, what it got in return was skill issue.
Go to therapy,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Get good.
That's a you problem, bro.
Sounds like up until this very moment, you never thought that it might be a ghost.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. Did you feel scared?
No.
So you chose to roll over and go to sleep and not go and tell a counselor.
Yeah.
Why was that?
I thought I was dreaming.
You thought you were dreaming.
Paranormal indifference.
Because when I came to pick you up from that camp experience, I mean, that was the first thing that you told me about. So it obviously had an effect. What happened the next day when you woke up?
No, nothing else about that thing.
I'm trying to get you to talk about how you processed it afterward.
How I processed it? I don't know. How I processed it was by going and eating waffles.
That's a good coping mechanism. I'm into it.
The food at this camp was apparently a bomb. So, kids go back.
I
for the
asked you
food.
once if you
Okay,
guys
here we go.
talked about it the next day, and you said you tried, but there was another kid who got really scared at hearing you guys talking about a ghost in the cabin and told on you, and you guys weren't allowed to talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
So you tried to talk about it with this other kid. What did he say?
Well, he didn't get to say anything. Because the kid who told on us just crashed out when we started talking.
Oh, so you were like, hey, other kid, do you remember seeing that thing last night? And the other kid didn't even get to react and be like, yeah, I remember.
I don't know. He never got to react.
You never got to... Okay.
And when you saw them later, you never thought to bring it up again?
Yeah.
Bummer.
That is such a bummer.
So you thought it was a dream.
But it also seemed real. Because I didn't believe that it could be true, but it did seem real.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think it would be an interesting
thing if you could contact that person and see if they remember that.
Okay.
Cool. Well, it would
All right.
confirm if it was just a dream or not, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Sometimes I still see him around.
Okay. Any listeners who might be listening, on our Instagram account, the thumbnail that I have for our ad for this episode about shadow people, that is actually this guy's rendition. He said he could easily draw a picture of what he saw, and that shadowy,
Hattie dude at the end.
the shadowy Hattie dude at the end is actually his.
Drawing of the guy in the corner.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time. I think that you have to go. So yeah.
Dude, he has, first of
Pretty
all,
bad.
the cutest voice. Such a cute little voice. And that's crazy. And I think I've already expressed my opinion that it's super sus if it was real, the way this thing presented with the crying and nobody likes me. I will yield the floor. Other opinions.
He is capable of messaging that other kid if he wanted to. They diverged and went to different middle schools, so he doesn't see him on a regular basis, but he does see him around, and they do still share the same chat group circle. And I've brought it up before. I've been like, man, you should reach out to that kid and find out what he remembers. But there's also this sort of thing where, like, wouldn't it just kind of be a little weird at this point to bring it up? Because he's actually wrong. It wasn't last summer. And that's the other part of it, is he was a 10-year-old little kid. Their memories are off. I mean, I had to practically like lead him through retelling the story the same way that he told me the first time. But he says that it was summer of last year, but really it was actually October of 2023. This point, it's been over a year and a half, 2 years.
The other consideration is, what would you do if that other kid came back and said, yeah, bro, I totally saw that? Like, you've worked really hard to be like, ghosts aren't real. When real is what is in front of you. And then, like, what would you even do about that?
Yeah.
It may not even be, I probably wouldn't in your position pursue that further just in case.
I think the most interesting part about it is that he didn't believe it was a ghost, that it was something else. Whereas, myself, pretty much anything that's not human or has a body is pretty much some sort of ghost or undead, if you will.
Well, he used the word demon. It was some sort of demon.
Even a demon would be, in my mind, a demon would still be a ghost or a.
It just goes to show that we don't talk about this stuff. I'm going to go on a limb here and say it's because of whatever the hell our childhood was. Cameron was not the only person who could not sleep growing up. I was one of those people. And in fact, my memory serves that me and Cameron were the reason why mom kept lights on all the time. It wasn't even necessarily for her. It was for us. And I just didn't want my kids going through that.
I scare people when I talk about that stuff. I'm largely still the reason why people sleep with their lights on.
What people? You? I do.
I don't.
Oh. Steve
I
has...
don't. I have to have it dark.
Yeah, I have to have it dark.
Sorry. Did you finish your thought, JT, or did I interrupt you?
That was the most interesting part to me. I mean, the fact that he, saw, quote unquote, the Hatman, and it was speaking out.
His descriptions did it for me.
Yeah.
So he was describing a lot of the stuff that we talk about without really knowing how to put it.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's pretty convincing. Something happened. Like, even if it was in a sleep state, the realness of it for him tells me that was something.
Yeah.
And I don't know that necessarily would be a sleep state. I think it would be that in between sleep and awakeness state.
Yeah.
And something jogged him awake, and he looked over, had this experience, then went back to sleep. But I don't know that he was necessarily dreaming per se. I mean, I wasn't there or anything, but I would think it would be more of that kind of in between.
Yeah. That's the suspicion of the group, is that he saw something real and not a dream. I can tell you that neither he nor I had heard of shadow people or the Hatman up until I started listening to all of your episodes. Probably must have been last fall was when I started. And then we put the pieces together about what he had seen in the past. And then now we just
call it the shadow person or the Hatman that he saw. So I think it's hard for him now to be able to
Yeah.
pull apart the chronology of when we started calling it that. I know I had that problem when I was a kid.
It does. It reminds me of when I saw, like, I would see ET in, like, waking dreams, and then I would swear you told me to go back to sleep, Abby.
Probably. I don't know.
Like, totally dismissive. Like, you didn't see it, but you were kind of like, yeah, no, he's there, and he only goes after you if you acknowledge him. So vaguely, I wonder if maybe it is more like waking dreams.
I distinctly remember as a child strongly believing if I can't see them, they can't see me. And that's why pulling a blanket over your head was so important as a kid. It just got dark in here.
It knows you're talking about it, Abby.
Well, there you go, guys. That is the conclusion to our first Reflections episode. I hope you enjoyed.